Jesus Luzardo, left-handed starter from the Miami Marlins, still has 3 years through 2026 of team control left. The price tag is obviously going to be really, really high. There is a lot to like when it comes to Jesus Luzardo.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsulias, and today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Create an account on the Game Time app and use code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. With me, as always, is my producer, Steve Granado. Steve, it's Friday.
It's Friday, Stace, and Thursday was a little busy on Thursday all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So on today's show, thanks for clicking, we have a whole bunch of stuff we need to get to. Of course, it's Fanmail Friday, like we always do here on Locked On Yankees. We're answering your questions on today's show. We're going to do it a little different here today. We're going to sandwich those segments. So as always, we have our YouTube community questions. That's going to be at the end of the show here today. We have to get through a couple of moves the Yankees ended up making on Thursday and a lot of rumors that they are suddenly intertwined with. So we're going to get to that here in the second segment. But the first segment, Stacey, as always, we answer our questions from our Locked On Yankees insiders. If you want to be an insider and get a whole bunch of really cool perks, check out the episode description. There's a 14-day free trial in there. You could sign up there, check it out, and see if you like it. This is from our insiders. Our first one, Stacey, and the majority of our conversation is coming from Josue, asking us, good morning and Happy New Year. Heard news about how Luzardo could be a good fit for the Yankees. Had not thought about that, but he's a great young arm with still huge upside and with team control. I know it would cost a lot, but what are your thoughts about it? Thanks. Of course, Stacey, Josue is alluding to Jesus Luzardo, left-handed starter from the Miami Marlins, former Oakland A, and kind of has a good little track record under his belt now. Last 2 seasons have been good. 2021 was a wash. He's coming off of the most innings he has pitched, nearly 170 this past season. Couple of thoughts on my front here, Stace. I want you to get into yours, of course. We're going to dip into these rumors and stuff. I'm just going to go out and say it here. Yankees are tied to a lot of lefties right now.
Yeah.
A lot of lefties. Luzardo, Snell, were tied to a manga, now not tied to a manga. A lot of lefties here, but of course, Luzardo, the youngest of all these guys, 26 years old, still has 3 years through 2026 of team control left. There is obviously a lot to like when it comes to Jesus Luzardo.
Yeah. I wasn't thinking about him as an option, but, reading up on him, I thought, ooh. I'm like, there's someone that the Yankees could use because, again, left-handed, that's always good. Batting-wise and pitching-wise for the Yankees would be nice, right? Because there seems to be not as many.
That's okay. So now I'm there comes a tipping point with everything, right? Like where too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
Right? Let's say they get one of these lefties. They're at 3 left-handed starters. Like I like it obviously more when it comes to relief because it gives you more options out of the pen. Yeah. But when you start getting super left-handed heavy in your rotation, that's a lot of innings thrown by a left-handed pitcher where obviously baseball is right-handed bat heavy. So like that doesn't help your matchup wise in the long run. 3 lefties in a rotation feels like the absolute most.
But are they all going to be there at the same time?
Fair. That's what I'm just saying. On paper, all that kind of stuff.
No, I know.
But yeah, I mean, Luzardo would obviously be a slight departure from where the Yankees' heads have been at this offseason because Luzardo is a win now and later move, where every other move essentially they've made is win now and only now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously if they got it's Yamamoto would have been the win now and later thing, but
yeah. Well, maybe slightly more towards the win later, just because of coming, right. Overseas. But let's not rehash that conversation because it's done. It's not happening. But as far as Luzardo is concerned, yeah, the price tag is obviously going to be really, really high. The Marlins could use a catcher. The Yankees obviously have catchers. I think they would be looking more towards near ready / ready catchers. When it comes to them, there's there's 2 on that 40 man right now, where the Yankees, at least like a week ago, had like 100 on their 40 man. They don't anymore. But yeah, the Yankees do have some depth when it comes to that. I don't know. The Marlins are just super confusing, especially since the end of last season, since the end of 2023. And Oswald Peraza would clearly be asked for when it comes to them. Yes, they have some guys there, Jake Berger and John Birdie and like guys like that. But Oswald Peraza would clearly have a legitimate shot at making the major league roster there, and legitimate time potentially for the Marlins. So there are kind of some gateways, some paths I see between the Marlins and the Yankees, as opposed to when we're talking about like the Yankees and the Brewers the other day.
Do you think that the changes in the Marlins front office hurts the chances or helps the chances?
I mean, it's hard to say because we don't really know how they're operating anymore.
Right.
Like the Marlins, again, are confusing given that they had success in 2023 and now they're doing the sell thing again. And you're like, why? Why are you doing that? You have the makings of a good team. You should be adding to that team. Yes, I know the NL East is a tough division with the Braves and Phillies in it, but that doesn't mean you just throw the white flag. It's really confusing, and I gotta imagine for Marlins fans and for like our friends on Locked On Marlins and stuff, they're confused. Everything I've seen is fans are very confused on what the direction of that team is, because you have success. Why are you leaning away from it, especially if you're giving away a guy like Jesus Luzardo, who's going to be a top part of your rotation and just prove that he can do that consistently over the last 2 years. So I don't really know why they would do it. That's not what the point of this conversation is. This is not Locked On Marlins, but it does mean in my head that the price tag will be pretty darn high. You got to give something here. And the Yankees have a little bit to give, and it kind of matches up, but are they willing to part ways? This is a better long-term investment, obviously, than some other guys that are also on the pitching market.
Right.
Thank you, Josue, for your question. We'll see if these rumors kind of heat up. They've been heating up over the last, 48 hours or so, just in general, not for the Luzardo, but just in general. Our next one's coming from Eric. Stacey, this is more on the trade stuff. If they sign Gio Urshela, do you think they can move Peraza to second, make DJ utility reserve, and trade Gleyber for a starter, keeping in mind that Cashman's starting pitcher trades have sucked, to put it mildly? Stacey, you're shaking your head no.
Why are we trading Gleyber? Why does everyone want to trade Gleyber? I guess maybe they think they could get more if they trade Gleyber, but why is that? Gleyber is always the guy that people want to throw away. It's like he was our steadiest player. He was the one that we didn't cringe every time we saw him play last year. Maybe occasionally in the field and on the bases, but coming up to bat, like why? We talked about the Urshela thing the other day. It doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense to us.
No.
It's very confusing to us. Go watch the episode on Wednesday if you want to learn more about our thoughts on Gio Urshela. He's the front poster boy on that episode, so you'll be able to find it rather quickly. Stacey, I don't want to get into this too much here. I'm really worried that Peraza is becoming Florial.
Yes.
That is my biggest concern when it comes to the Yankees right now, that Peraza is becoming Florial, and I don't want to see that. Just going to make that clear. Maybe we can hash that out deeper, longer on a future episode. But that is a big concern of mine right now. And play him or trade him at this point. I'm really getting sick of it.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Yankees, given how we see how they've handled this, how they've handled things in the past when it comes to prospects, I don't feel that they are favoring Peraza over Torres right now. I don't get that vibe at all.
No.
And to be fair, maybe they shouldn't, because Gleyber clearly has a much bigger major league track record. But I said this on the show the other day. That's because of their own doing.
Right.
Just saying. Thank you, Eric, for your question. That's a lot of moves. I do like that you bring up that the starting pitcher trades have not been good under Cashman. They just haven't recently. Some of that's obviously injury. Most of that is obviously injury. But yeah, no, it's hard to ignore. You're not making any bad points here. Last one, Stacey, let's get to quickly. This one's coming from Jack asking us, who's your favorite unsung hero of the Yankees in the last few years? Guys who didn't get a lot of credit or money, but made an impact. Mine is Didi. I love Didi. Didi's awesome. One of the best dudes in baseball, period. Mine, Stacey, is Ryan Weber. I'm always going to love me some Ryan Weber. Guy that's just, yeah, I'll go back down to the minors. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Oh, you want me to sign a major league contract? Well, I'll get a signing bonus, but yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I'm cool with that too.
Yeah.
Like he was just so game for everything.
You need me to pitch 5 innings? Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah. He was just so on board for like whatever. He's like, yeah, man, I'm just happy to be here. So Webby's mine. Do you have one?
2019. I'm going back to 2019. I'm going back to the guys who came in when the Yankees had, 30 IL trips. The first year they started calling it the IL. I'm talking about guys like Mike Tauchman. I'm talking about guys who came in like Cameron Maybin, Mike Ford. It just seemed like there was a new hero every couple of weeks. Like some guy would have a run and do really well. And, the Yankees won 103 games that season because of guys like that. So.
Not a bad choice. Not a bad choice. Thank you to our insiders. As always, if you want to become a Locked On Yankees insider, you can check out the link in the episode description. There's a 14-day free trial for the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. One-on-one text messages with Stacey and myself. Breaking news, instant analysis, pretty much having us in your back pocket at all times. Super, super cool. Check it out in the episode description. That's how all these people got their questions answered first. All right. We're going to answer more questions later on in the show, but coming up next, the Yankees made a signing, a waiver claim, and are in the midst of a whole bunch of rumors here this week. We need to break all those down when we come back.
If you're looking for tickets for just about anything, check out Game Time. Game Time is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and shows near you. There's no baseball for a few more months, but football, hockey, and basketball are in full swing. Game Time takes all the work out of buying tickets, so all you do is tap a few times and you're in. Steve used them basically all last season, and he still uses them for hockey tickets, and he loves it. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to just moments before your event starts. You can get exclusive flash deals on tickets for other events too, like concerts, comedy, theater, and more. With their lowest price guarantee and event cancellation protection, Game Time is the best place to buy tickets in just a matter of seconds. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Back now on Locked On Yankees. Hey, everydayers, don't forget to check out the Locked On Sports Today 24 streaming YouTube channel. That's again, Locked On Sports Today for the top stories every single day, 24/7, every day, Monday through Monday. Stacey, a couple of moves here for the Yankees on Wednesday, or rather Thursday, I beg your pardon. One signing, they signed right-handed pitcher Cody Poteet, who has been both a starter and a reliever at the major league level. Stop me if you've heard that before. But they did sign Cody Poteet to a rather small deal, a major league deal, though, which is intriguing. He pitched for the Marlins in 2021 and 2022. A lot of Marlins talk here today.
Yeah.
Again, he was splitting time as a reliever and a starter. In 22, he was mostly reliever. He's coming off of Tommy John. In 2022, he was with the Royals. In 2023, he made one appearance out at AAA for Kansas City with Omaha. He was basically just rehabbing all year, kind of took the Frankie Montas route in 2023. But that was the case for him. Cody Poteet does have all of his options, so he does not need to make the major league roster. He would have to be optioned after spring training to get him to Scranton Wilkes-Barre. But again, he has all his options left. So a lot of flexibility with Cody Poteet. This is a guy that can fill a couple of roles. The Yankees have kind of been stockpiling these guys recently.
Yeah. I'll admit I didn't know who he was. I had to look him up because I'd never heard his name before. But this seems to be a thing that they're doing. This is their theme for the offseason so far. And we'll see how it works out for them. Like you said, It's like they're just trying these guys out and seeing what fits.
And we've sang the praises of Matt Blake and Sam Breen 100 times on this show. We pretty much do it every other episode, but I wouldn't say this is necessarily a diamond in the rough. Maybe it's on the verge of that because he didn't pitch last season because of Tommy John, but like they do great with this stuff. The Yankees really do. I don't want to say revitalize careers, but get the most out of guys, especially out of the pen. They've done such a good job of that. That's why when we were talking about the Super Bullpen the other day, right? We're like, this is probably the team to do it. Like this is the front office and the coaching staff that's really good at this stuff. And if there's any team in baseball, any of the 30 teams, like I would put my hat in the ring for the Yankees to be the team to be able to pull something off like that.
Mm-hmm. That's why I like some of the guys that we had mentioned in previous episodes, like who I wanted the Yankees to kind of take chances on, like Lucas Giolito, like people who were having issues. Like I always felt like the duo of Breen and Blake would help guys like that. And it feels that way with any pitcher that they bring in. So
Breen and Blake, injury attorneys.
yeah.
Weirdly enough, though, we've talked about this, especially when it comes to Luis Severino. They have not had success on that front. So strange. They haven't had it on the starting side.
Yeah, it always seems to be the guys that you can use as relievers. But I feel like certain guys like Lucas Giolito, they could probably help with, but I mean, it's, yeah, well, that and also the Severino thing was just really strange all around. We talked about that, but like everything about it was just weird, and he just really needed a change of scenery. So yeah, that works for him.
Of course, there was also a waiver claim, Stacey. Bubba Thompson, outfielder from the Cincinnati Reds, technically. He was everywhere in 2023. He was drafted, developed, and spent his whole career with Texas. Then he was DFA'd by Texas. He was claimed by Kansas City and then by Cincinnati. And now the Yankees have this waiver claim. He was a former first rounder in 2017. He was the 26th overall pick out of high school by the Rangers. He's only played 92 games in the last 2 seasons at the major league level. That's all his major league time. He's had more success in AAA than he has in the majors. But he also has his options. He doesn't have all of them, but he has a good chunk of options left. So I got to imagine that Bubba Thompson's going to be a big part of the Rail Riders. You're probably going to see him and Everson Pereira, those guys down with the Rail Riders getting regular playing time. And I wouldn't say Bubba Thompson's going to be like the first call, but we'll, in all likelihood, with injuries and stuff, at some point, you might see Bubba Thompson next season. He's going to be there with like Oscar Gonzalez, and I said Everson Pereira, right? Like that's going to be him. But the interesting part of this all, Stacey, we're talking a lot about trades and signings and all that stuff because 'tis the season. But the Yankees now with Cody Poteet and Bubba Thompson are now at 40. They are 40-man spots. We were looking at the 40-man today, Stacey, before we started recording, and we're going like, okay, without a trade, if the Yankees, let's say, because we're going to talk about the Snell stuff in just a second, let's say they sign Snell, someone needs to be outrighted. Someone needs to be DFA'd. And for my money, let's say it's a pitcher, which in all likelihood it would be, then in my head, it's Matt Crook or Nick Ramirez, who would be the guys that would get the boot.
Yeah, I would think it would be one of those two. Because there are other guys that have.
Oh, wait. 60-day for Jason Dominguez. Saved it. I saved it. Okay, you don't got to get rid of him. See, this is why we talk it out.
This is what we do
Jason
before the show, too.
Yeah, they'll 60-day Jason. Duh. Yeah, because he's out for months.
Yeah, that makes a good guess. Yeah, that makes sense. Bubba Thompson, if I'm not mistaken, made a really good play in Aaron Judge's 60-second home run game for Texas.
Oh, how about that?
Mm-hmm.
That's a memory right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real memory. Okay, well, I'm glad I talked through the 40-man thing because that really cleared it up in my head now. They don't. Okay, scratch that. Crook's not gone.
But honestly, this is what we do before shows. Well,
yeah, we do. It sounds a lot like that. And I go, and it's quiet for like 20 seconds. And I go, oh, 60-day. Of course, Stacey, that leads us here into the rumors here for today. Okay, dude, we're all over the place. Like the rumors are, they spurred up on Thursday. They're conflicting. Just to be fair, the first one was coming from Randy Miller of NJ.com. The Yankees have, quote, no interest in Shota Imanaga because they consider him to be a fly ball pitcher who wouldn't be a fit for Yankee Stadium. We kind of felt, maybe not because of that reason, but we kind of felt that the Yankees were going to be leaning away from him because of that. We talked about the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. And I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. It just didn't feel like the right fit. John Heyman also reported that, by the way. So it seems like maybe the Yankees are out without officially saying it. Heyman also reported, which is conflicting from a report we got the other day, that the Yankees do indeed have interest in Blake Snell. Heyman's not the only one to report this. Andy Martino also reported this. And in that Andy Martino report, he said that Snell is telling people that he wants to come to New York, that he's interested in New York. He's intrigued by New York. That is conflicting with what Scott Boras is saying. And now it's he said, she said. And now it's, it's gossip at the lunch table. Because remember, Kylie McDaniel on our last episode, I think, maybe 2 episodes ago, from ESPN was talking about how the Yankees weren't going to be interested in Snell. Like, that was just a few days ago. So, like, again, we are getting conflicting reports. The Kylie McDaniel report kind of felt more along the lines of, like, I get this feeling. As in,
Right.
Kylie McDaniel, get the feeling.
Yeah.
To where Heyman and Martino's reporting feels a little bit more concrete.
Yes. I feel like everyone's waking up from their New Year's Eve and New Year's hangovers, and that's why everything picked up on Thursday.
That's fair. They're all over the place. Like, we are trying to keep up with these rumors for everyone, of course, and we'll do our best to kind of work our way through the mud here. But I want to make sure.
Check your phone to make sure something didn't happen.
Yeah, it's always right here. It's okay. Always because
we've had that happen a couple times.
Yep. But like, I kind of wanted to use this as a springboard more today, just to be like, guys, like, be careful with these rumors right now, because they all heat up, they all start conflicting, and it's very hard to tell what's real, what's not real, and what you should take as real. So I just wanted to make sure we kind of, it's never a bad time to PSA that.
Right.
Because, like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy out there. Be careful.
It is.
This is actually worse than the trade deadline, it feels like.
Yes, especially just because they all came at once. And within the week, we've had like 3 different reports on Blake Snell.
Yeah. All different.
So,
it's like,
I feel like this offseason baseball reporting has really taken a kick in the, you know what?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's very strange.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. Shohei's on a plane. Shohei's not on a plane. Actually, Shohei's in Newport Beach. Actually, Shohei's getting lunch at Sweet Green.
Like, specifically, he's on a plane on the way to Toronto, and all those people in Toronto were keeping track of a plane that did not have Shohei Ohtani on it.
Just kidding. I was watching Shark Tank. My bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, what an off season it's been. Okay, that's the rumors right now. Take them with all grains of salt that you could possibly find in your kitchen. We have some other stuff we wanted to get to. Everyone's asking about pitching, guys. All our questions are pitching based, so we're going to get to that here. Our last questions for this Fanmail Friday next. Back here on a jam-packed Locked On Yankees here today. Stacey, it's Fanmail Friday. We need to get to our last questions from our YouTube community. If you're new around these parts, you can always reply to the pinned comments on our episodes on Monday and on Wednesday. Of course, since we're only 3 times a week right now, just go to the comment section on YouTube and reply to the pinned comment. Of course, you guys already know about the Insiders Club. You can do that as well. Okay, our first one's coming from one of our regulars, Stacey, someone who hasn't checked in a while, Teacher Sama, asking us, first saying Happy New Year, guys. I'm glad you're feeling healthy again. Thank you. I still got that slight cough. I cough like
I know. I still have
5 times a day right now.
I still have the tickle in my throat. Yeah.
Yep. I still got it. But thank you, Teacher Sama. The rest of the question here, no one knows what's going to happen. It's just Monday the 1st, of course, when they're asking this. But what would you say about the Yanks getting Mike Clevinger, Michael Lorenzen, free agents at the moment? I send this message, starting to sound like us now, and a trade for either Bieber or Burnes. Although, to be honest, I smell Cashman not signing a starting pitcher, and then I see this was an even better organization than last year, but we were unlucky comment coming from Cashman at the end of yet another terrible season. I hope time shuts my mouth. Teacher Sama, thank you so much for your question. Man, you're, again, sounds like you're hosting this show.
So optimistic. So optimistic.
I'd steer away from Clevinger. I've sang the praises of Lorenzen. I'm curious what Michael Lorenzen is going to get this offseason.
With the way the market's going, I don't know.
I feel like he's going to get a 3-year deal or something.
Mm,
I don't know. I
could
just
be.
feel that. Because he's pretty solid, dude. He's pretty solid.
Yeah.
He's had a real good 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
He's 3-0 and then trade for either Bieber or Burnes. Man, I still feel like the Yankees want to sign as opposed to trade, but with the 40-man situation, maybe not. I don't know. It's kind of all over the place. Where do you lean when it comes to Clevinger, Lorenzen, Bieber, Burnes?
No on Clevinger, possibly Lorenzen. I think I prefer Burnes over Bieber.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fastball stuff is scary when it comes to Bieber.
Yeah. You had mentioned it the other day.
Surgery,
but
fastball. I don't like it.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
He'd have to quasi reinvent, it feels, for his career to continue.
Yeah. I mean, if he could, that'd be great. But
yeah, it's a little worrisome. And I given the history of injuries recently, man, especially on starting pitching, it's worrisome. Thank you, Teacher Sama, for your question. Appreciate it. This next one is coming from a newbie on the YouTube side at Big Georgie 333. Who do you guys think will be the Yankees' biggest division rival this season? Man, Stacey, it's clearly been the Rays and Blue Jays recently, but I feel like here comes Baltimore.
Yeah, I feel like Orioles, Blue Jays. I feel like the Rays have dropped back a bit. They have some issues going on with that team. But I feel like it could be, if you're not watching on YouTube, Orioles and then Blue Jays right underneath them for biggest rival. Yeah.
Blue Jays are having the Giants 2022 offseason.
Yeah. It feels that way. Mm-hmm.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you, Big Georgie. I like that question. And our last one here today, Stacey, coming from Mr. Mallory 94. Could you see the Yankees taking a flyer on Brandon Woodruff? Thank you, Mr. Mallory, for your question. My answer is no. I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Don't forget that Brandon Woodruff is anticipated to miss all of 2024 after surgery.
Right.
So it would be a multi-year deal in all likelihood if they're going to sign him with the intent to rehab him in 2023, maybe see him in September, and then gear up for 2025. I don't think the Yankees have interest in that type of investment.
No. And if they did do that, I feel like people meaning fans would freak out. So no.
Yeah. He'd be a 60-day, clearly. I'm curious if he gets anything.
Right.
Brandon Woodruff is kind of in the Clayton Kershaw camp right now. Right. Kershaw is anticipated to miss most of 2024 because of surgery. He said he's feeling good, which is good. He talked on I think it was a podcast or a radio show recently. They said he's feeling good and he's gearing up for the season ish, but surgery. So he's still waiting on it. Man, if we ever see Clayton Kershaw outside of Dodger Blue, I feel so weird about that.
That would be like Derek Jeter not wearing a Yankee uniform. Like that would just be really, really weird. It wouldn't feel right at all.
Clayton Kershaw's a Dodger, period. That's it.
Or like Joey Votto, not a red. Like people like that,
Same, yeah. Same vibes. Right. Total same. Yadier Molina, not a Cardinal.
Yeah.
Like what? Same vibe there for Kershaw. But yeah, as far as Brandon Woodruff is concerned, he was non-tendered at the end of the season because of the surgery stuff, which felt icky a little bit.
Yeah.
That's Brewers baseball right now.
Yeah, what are they doing? They're almost as confusing as the Marlins. I mean, the Marlins always feel like they're confusing every 3 years or so, but the Brewers, what are you doing? We talked about it the other day.
The Marlins are the World Baseball Classic when it comes to confusion.
Yes.
Comes around every couple of years.
Every couple of years.
It's an Olympic year. Maybe that's it. It's the maybe check the record. Is it every Olympic year? Is that 2024 is an Olympic year?
No, 2020 they made the playoffs, didn't they? In the shortened year, the Marlins.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
All right. Scratch that.
It's WBC.
Thank you, Mr. Mallory. Thank you, Big Georgie, Teacher Sama, our insiders. We appreciate all your questions here today. And of course, don't get discouraged if you did reply. There was a lot of replies and a lot of questions that we couldn't get to today, probably because of all the moves on Thursday. We would have used this whole episode to answer a bunch of questions, but all the Thursday rumors and moves and stuff we had to get to. So.
Again, everyone woke up. It's New Year's is over. Everyone's back to work.
Also saw a report. Apparently, it's supposed to be a very busy January on the Yankees front. So here we go. Gear up. Don't forget
It's
to
good
subscribe.
for us, though. It's good for us, though.
We got stuff coming, apparently. We'll see what that stuff is. I feel like trade. I feel like a trade is coming.
Yeah.
Here we go. Anyway, to be the first people to find out about that kind of stuff is the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. Check the episode description. And that's going to do it for today's Locked On Yankees. I'm Steve Granado.
And I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. We'll see you on Monday.